Hey guys, how's it going? This is Mark from visualeffectspro.com, and in this tutorial we're going to learn how to create a cinematic title using After Effects and one of our packs, Scratch Animated Font. I will have a link in the description for the pack. We're going to be covering quite a few tips that you can use when creating cinematic titles, such as using a 3D space to create a bit of depth in your title, as well as using blending modes to create more cinematic backgrounds, and also going to learn how to give this wibbly motion to the individual letters. Alright, let's get started. So I'm going to make a new comp by pressing Ctrl and N. I'm going to call this title. Gonna make the duration 5 seconds. I'm gonna leave it as 24 frames per second. I am using some assets from a website called pexels.com. It is a stock footage website for completely free, and I will have links in the description for the ones I'm using in this tutorial. So I'm gonna drag in the first stock footage, and it's the one with the lightning. Then straight away I'm going to bring in another stock image, and this is going to be our main background, which is this moody sky with the clouds. I'm going to click on the image, press S, and scale it down to fill in the background. I'm gonna move it down a bit by clicking on the image and pressing Shift, so it only moves downwards to something like that. Then I'm gonna de-isolate it. I'm gonna press S on the footage that has the lightning on it. I'm gonna come forward where the lightning happens, and I'm going to scale it up to something like that. Then with the top layer, I'm going to come into blending modes and click on screen. And the screen blending mode is going to get rid of everything that's rather dark and keep everything that's very bright. So as you can see, our lightning is now showing with the sky background. As you can see, our lightning kind of cuts off. So I'm going to press on this clip, click on the clip and shift and move it up. And now I'm going to bring in what the title I want it to be. So I'm going to come into the Scratch Animated Font folder. I'm going to be using the white version. Come into the letters, and I'm going to grab the first one, that is an S. Press S again, scale it down. I'm going to move it to the left. Alright, and one quick way you can bring in the rest of the elements is if you bring in the next letter, start parenting it to the S, and press Shift before you let go. And this is going to parent it, but also move into the same position as your first letter. After that, you can de-link it from the S and just click on the C for me. Bring it to the right. Alright, so now I'm going to bring in the rest. Alright, and now I have my full word here that is called Scratch. And now as you can see, this is slightly on the right. So now we're going to add them into a group and move them together as a group into the middle. And to do that, we're going to create a new null object by pressing Ctrl, Shift, Alt, and Y. I'm going to parent all of these into this null and then going to rename it to text control. I'm going to turn on proportional grid. This way we can easily place it into the middle. You can scale it down by scaling down the actual null object as well. So I'm going to scale it down to like this small. And now we can start working on creating that 3D depth. And to do that, we need to create a 3D camera. So I'm going to create a camera by pressing Ctrl, Shift, Alt, and C, or Layer, New Camera. I'm going to leave the focal length at 35, then click OK. And now we need to make these layers into 3D. So I'm going to make the letters 3D, including the control itself, and also these two background layers to be 3D. Now with the background layers itself, I'm going to link this top layer, which has the lightning in it, to the image that is our main background. And I'm going to press P and move our main background back in Z space. I'm going to move it back maybe 7,000. Then going to press S and scale it up to again fill up our framing. Gonna give a little bit of an extra space in case we want to move our camera back. And now with our text, we also have the option to either move it forward or backward in Z space. And now we're going to animate our camera. And to do that, we're going to create a new null object by pressing Ctrl, Shift, and Y. Going to make it into a 3D null and going to parent our camera to this null and going to rename it to Cam Control. Then I'm going to press P and create a keyframe in the beginning. Then I'm going to come into 2 seconds, press N, so our work area ends here. So we're not going to preview the rest of it. And I'm going to animate our camera going forward, maybe to around here. And this is what we got so far. I'm going to move down our lightning layer slightly, so this last lightning creates almost an underlining for our title. So I'm going to press on the footage itself, I'm going to move it down, maybe something like that. Alright, and now coming back to our main title, I'm going to come into the individual letters. I'm going to press P, Alt click on position, and going to add a very simple expression called wiggle, and I'm going to type in 15,5, then click off of it. And what this is going to do, I'm going to isolate it to C. It's going to add a very small shake to the letter itself, and these were made to be animated in a scribbly motion, as you can see. Adding a small shake actually adds quite a bit in the final result. So I'm gonna bring in another one, the next letter, the C. I'm gonna press P, alt click on position, type in wiggle again. This time you can go maybe 12,5. And with this, you want to make sure that for the rest of the letters, you don't just add the same amounts, because that way it becomes too repetitive. You want to create slight offments within each letter. Alright, so using the same technique, I've added the wiggle expression to all the letters, and that creates this shake animation added on top of the already scribbly animated font, and that creates a really nice cinematic title effect. For this particular title, I've also added a color grade and made it black and white, and the way I'm going to do that in After Effects is going to create a new adjustment layer by pressing Ctrl Alt and Y. I'm going to rename it to temporary grade. I'm going to search for film convert, and I'm going to use a black and white film stock, as well as also add 2 points to our curves adjustment and slightly increase the contrast on the image. And this is the end of the tutorial. As you can see, in my case, I've added 2 more texts that is underneath our scratch animated main title animated font, as well as the bottom part. But there is one way to create cinematic title animations in After Effects. I hope you liked this tutorial. If you did, then please leave a like and also share this tutorial around. And check out our scratch animated font pack that you can find on our website. I will have a link in the description. And thank you for watching. Bye.